Say bye, brother.
Bye.
We have a whole caravan going for your doctor's appointment now.
Yep.
Or are you mad because you know where you're going? Is that what this is?
Oh my gosh, our trunk was left open.
Oh, that's great. Okay, I'll see you there.
Okay, drive safe.
You're so fussy. Gosh. Oh my gosh, just get in the car.
Let's put that up. Put your iPad up.
Cranky woman.
Girl. Pick your iPad up, please.
I have another cord for her iPad.
Oh, good. Here you go. Buckle yourself in. You got all your blankets here. Here. Put your buckle in. Put your buckle in the clip. Stop worrying about what Dad's doing. Come on.
Bye.
Put your buckle in.
I'll see you there.
Clip it.
So we're driving 2 separate vehicles to the same doctor's appointment because Priscilla is going to get coffee with a friend right after Abby's doctor's appointment. It's the only time that worked out for everything together. So she's going to take her, and then I'm going to take Abby from Priscilla because she won't be able to make it back home. You know, that's how time works. You know how that works without me having to explain it. Hydrate yourself. I did a Q&A on Instagram. No, I did not. I did a Q&A on Facebook a day or two ago. And I was like, hey, y'all ask me your questions. And like Instagram and Facebook was down. So I got a few questions. Not what I was hoping for. But not your fault. It was because Instagram and Facebook there was like an outage or something like that. And they were having server issues. But anyhow. So Missy wanted to know, will you ever be able to leave Abby alone for short periods of time? And the answer is we do, kind of. And I would assume that what you're asking about is like, can we like leave her alone like in the house and, you know, and us leave the house type of deal? Not really. Like, I'm sure, like, will you ever? Who knows? Probably at some point, you know, that's the goal, right? I don't see why we wouldn't. Like, she's progressed so much. Like, we used to not be able to leave her alone for 30 seconds in a room. And now, like, she does her own thing for a lot of the day. So I don't see why we wouldn't be able to progress to that point. You know, people don't stop developing once they hit a certain age. Like, you learn new skills and like you continue to gain throughout your life, you know, for a very long time. So I don't see why that isn't a feasible thing in the future. But as far as right now, no, you know, we can be in a different room, which is a huge milestone. She can do her own thing, and we kind of just leave her be, banana, quite a bit. So that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool we gotten to that point, because I'm sure a lot of you parents are in that place or have been in that place where it's like you can't leave the room. You know, it's just something's gonna happen. Are you in parking garage jail? Why are you upset, kid? Come on. This is the easy doctor. In and out. It's funny you mentioned that because I was answering questions from the Q&A that I did yesterday, the day before. And one of the big questions we always get, of course, is how do we do dentist? How does she do a dentist? So you guys are gonna find out because Thursday we go to the dentist. But we have to do sedation dentistry. We will do as much as we can without sedation. So, which makes it really hard because you have to find a dentist that does sedation. She always talk about all the time, like the harder things that Abigail deals with in her life, the things that she views as being hard, right? And people are always like, well, maybe it's this or maybe it's that. It's the opposite of what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Always. Like, just is so very different because the way that her brain works is so very different. So she goes and gets a shot in her arm. And that is not what bothers her at all about going to the doctor. It could be a light fixture. It could be the way the room sounds, just because of the way that, you know, the auditory, the echo, the sound profile of a space. It could be anything. You know, a variety of things for her. I'm not saying, you know, there's a lot of places we know what the issue is in a certain space.
I'm pretty sure it was the lights in there.
The lights in there this time, but other times they haven't bothered her.
Nope.
Because she literally sits and watches the nurse put the shot in her arm and doesn't even flinch.
I'm like, oh, how are you watching that right now? And then they put a Band-Aid on her and she pulls it off.
Yeah, she don't want the Band-Aid on. The Band-Aid bothers her, the shot doesn't.
Yeah.
Band-Aids are uncomfortable.
Yeah.
All right, come on, bye.
Bye. I love
Say
you.
bye, Mom.
I told her dad was giving her a treat.
Oh, okay. Can you say bye to Mama?
Bye.
Say thank you. Say thanks for taking me, Mom. Thanks for taking care of my health.
Of course.
All right.
Love you.
Love you
See
too.
you in a little bit.
All right, have fun. Come on over here, out on the road. Walk on the side. Quicker to the side. Safety purposes, you know. The question is, what are we getting for a treat? What are we gonna get? Oh my gosh, so excited. Okay, what are we gonna get? Cookies, huh? Yeah. We're gonna go to, you wanna go to like Daly's or something? Sounds great. Oh, before we drive, do you wanna listen to music? Okay, the music going before we get on the road, because it's lots of traffic. Cookies as our treat, but we talked about it. Like, we have cookies at home, so
let's do cookies at home.
just gonna get a cookie at home. She was cool with that.
How's it going? You getting a response?
I was driving, sorry.
I was terrified.
A little jump scare. Isaiah gets scared when he realizes there's other people on the planet sometimes.
It's so bad.
He like walk into a room where I'm supposed to live. Yeah, and I was gonna stop. I was like, "Oh, we're gonna dunk it, but we have iced coffee at home too." You know, just being responsible. You know, like eating from home and stuff.
Spaghetti was insane.
It was good, right? Love some
Alfredo
leftovers.
spaghetti.
TikTok spaghetti bake.
Got nothing on that.
It's good, right?
It's better than Josephine's for real.
What?
I'm saying that.
What? Yeah, she did good. She doesn't care about the shot. It's the lights bother her. Shots she doesn't care about. She watches them put the shot in her arm.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. She's like, give it to me.
She's goofy.
I can take it.
Love her.
So Shayna wants to know, how long does it take to edit your videos? It depends on the video.
Mm-hmm.
For me, like if it's really just like a lot of talking and like, you know, like here's our day type of deal.
Right.
Pretty quick, like it's a couple hours. But if it's a lot of B-roll and I do a lot of work, you can tell when I do a lot of work. There's music to the, you know, to the beat. It's filmed to the beat of the music, all that stuff. That's many more hours. Sometimes that most like 4 to 5 hours, I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say
to
mine
edit.
generally is like 4 to 5 because I do it once a week too.
Yeah.
So I end up having like 70 videos that are all like a minute long at least because I'll set up my camera somewhere and then forget about it.
Yeah. So it's easier to film and then edit immediately after you film
for
because
sure.
you remember everything, what idea you had for that shot that you got. It's easier to get in a flow. Like, it's a lot harder the way Isaiah does it per video. And then also, you know, they talk about like quantity versus quality, but quantity increases quality because you get more practice at it.
Sure.
So
It's your reps.
that's probably way more of an answer than what you're looking for. Terry said, I watch lots of videos with people and I've been watching you for many years. I do have one question. Why is it you barely look into the camera when you're talking to us?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's just hard sometimes.
Social anxiety?
I get distracted by myself in the camera a lot of times, so I just won't look at all. And so, not that I'm so good looking, I'm just not realizing how I answered that, but I just get distracted by how I look. I'm like, oh.
We're trying to be funny by looking away from the camera, but seriously,
I think I just looked at the camera anyway.
a lot of the reason why is because the way that I think is when I'm thinking while I'm talking, I'm looking away because it helps me to think. If I'm looking at the camera, then I, like Isaiah said, I'm distracted by what's on screen, so I can't. You know, it's just the way I think, I guess. But
Yeah.
I try to also look into the lens when I'm talking. Isaiah is the worst at this, though. He'll look at the screen at himself instead of looking at the lens. So if you see him looking like he's looking over here, he's looking at the screen. So
checking myself.
shout out to Isaiah's channel. Go make sure you go subscribe.
Yeah.
Okay, this one's for you. This is from Carol, since you're a psychology major. Good evening. How do you and Priscilla differentiate between behaviors and behaviors that have converted to habits? I hope that is understandable. Thank you.
I think one thing that you mentioned before this too is that, like, first off, the behaviors are kind of have a negative connotation. Same with like consequences. Like, those things don't necessarily aren't necessarily negative. So like when you say behaviors and habits and things like that,
Like consequences aren't necessarily punishment.
Right, they're not a punishment or anything. It's just what happens because of this.
Right.
Right. So like, I think a lot of times it's just when those consequences, when that outcome of whatever it is favorable or whatever, then that's a lot of times what creates a habit, So like, I know that I can get up in the morning and if I text mom that I'm up, then she's not going to be like, Isaiah, why are you up so late? So that may become a habit, but that's not something I've done yet. That's more of a behavior. That doesn't really answer your question at all. So, but I'm just saying like for example, Abby, she'll, ask us for food a lot. I think more is it's not a behavior that she's asking to eat all the time, but it is a habit because eventually sometimes we'll give in and give her food, at appropriate times. So it's kind of just rolling the die a little bit.
Or more at an inappropriate time, where it's like, if I ask enough, they'll give me a snack, and eventually we give her a snack.
Right.
We're just like, fine, here. So she's like, I'm going to ask all the time.
Right, exactly. So it kind of becomes that.
But habits are... Okay, but then as far as differentiating between, okay, like a negative behavior and a habit, there is no differentiation in the behavioral sciences world. It's still a behavior, and if it's a undesirable behavior, you still do things to decrease the frequency of that undesirable behavior.
Yeah, even if it's basically just the difference. I guess the question is, no offense, but the question is a little flawed in that, like, habits are behaviors. Like, yes. That is, they are one and the same.
Habits are formed by behaviors.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So it's just
directly
when those behaviors are, when you get the preferred result, then they become habits eventually.
Read the book Atomic Habits. It talks all about shaping your behaviors to form positive habits.
Yeah.
And that'll explain a lot of what you're asking.
Things every day and all that, like that form your habits. So yeah.
Again, lengthy answer to a short question. Thank you. Okay, so Michelle wants to know, how did you get Abby to use the iPad for communication? My daughter's not interested, but instead does behaviors.
So it took a very long time. And as you guys know, you've kind of like seen her evolve with the iPad. But we did use reinforcers, whatever that may be. Like if your kid likes the iPad for like their downtime, that could be a good reinforcer, playing with their favorite thing. If you use edible reinforcers, I'm not saying give it every time, but you have to be consistent and persistent with it. Right. That's really what we found. And once Abby figured out that she could get what she wanted by asking, using her iPad. So make sure that's what you're utilizing it for, is that she requests something and you give it to her immediately. Yeah. And that positive reinforcement, it was a natural thing for her, and so that's what made her
I think
start using it.
So that ties into another question people ask all the time, which is, why is it always things that she wants on her iPad? She doesn't communicate, because that's how it begun. That's how we had to teach her how to use the iPad, because she got some kind of reinforcer, some kind of reward by using it. She could ask for a specific type of food to eat, or, whatever it might be, an activity that was preferred. So it became a list of mans, is what they call it, but demands.
Right.
I want this, I want that, I want this. And so that's how it was originally developed. So the downside of that is it becomes a tool for demands, and that's the majority of it. But over time, though, she's starting to be able to use it more and more to communicate more things than just I want.
Right. So. I mean, she has her feelings on there. She has, I don't want to do this.
Emotional feelings, body feeling, like how her body's feeling. She has,
like, I feel sick.
Yeah.
She has all of those words on her iPad. It's just her wanting to use those words.
And learning to use them.
Right.
Yeah, learning the definition of them.
So. What did they call that? Motor... it's like something where you're automatically motor planning. It's not motor planning. I can't remember. Anyway, it's one of those
terms. What is it related to? So one of the therapists
like the
can
fact
tell us.
that she remembers, like it's an automatic that her brain goes, oh, I'm going to go to this tab on the iPad.
Right.
I can't remember what the word's called, but there's like an actual definition.
But she can fly through it. Like her fingers are super fast on it.
Her speech and language pathologist says it sometimes. Motor memory?
The motor memory?
I feel like that's right. Yeah.
That sounds right.
Yep.
I'll take this question. Deb wants to know, are you going to hire a new teacher for Abby and give yourself a break? Oh, thanks, Deb. I think a lot of that has to do with giving Abby a break, too. To be honest with you. Huh? Give you a break? So, yeah, the plan is to still... We have plastic.
oh joy, is to hire a teacher and for next school year. What that is going to look like, we don't know yet. You know, it could be someone that's like a hardcore, full-time, like just knocking out of the park kind of teacher. Like they do everything and they come up with a lesson plan, everything. It could be someone that is just like we're creating the lesson plan like we've been doing and they're kind of facilitating it, or it could be someone that is taking her to the outings that we have scheduled, you know, planned for next year, where she's going to like, you know, group sessions to do like art or, you know, vocational type activities. And she just needs a person there with her that has experience with people with disabilities. So it could be, like I said, a full-fledged teacher, or it could be more of like a paraprofessional level. Just really depends on who's available. It's not so much our choice as it is like who applies for the job, who's available for it. And we're just willing to be flexible so that it benefits Abigail the best. If that answers your question. But yes, the answer is definitely yes. I want her to get more from this, and it's hard because I'm trying to juggle multiple things at one time. And it doesn't benefit her as well, and also for us. You're right, Deb. Like it doesn't benefit us either.
Too, because school's in session right now.
Yeah.
So all the good teachers that you would probably want are employed.
Right. That's one thing we've said multiple times. All the good teachers have jobs right now. So.
Drop it.
Sorry, the dog ate something. That she shouldn't have. Yeah, so I've been giving her snack in a paper bowl, just we had them leftover paper bowls. So she's gotten in the habit of, and it was cool because she always puts her silverware and her dishes in the sink. So we had to learn, okay, my fork goes in the sink, but the bowl goes in the trash. Nice. Separating the two was a whole nother.
She slammed the crap out of the trash can at work.
Yeah.
I came in and was like, well, bam!
Yeah.
Say, whoa.
Yeah, we just recently started doing that. It's the next day, but I had to tell you guys because we just had this. So those suck. Those are terrible. I hate those.
I know.
So we just had an assessment from Miss Abigail.
Yeah.
And so that's with APD, Agency for Persons with Disabilities. So they have to do an assessment every 3 years, and you got to do it with IEPs. You got to do it with, you know, lots of assessments in your life coming up if you haven't done it already. But the problem with them is your nature as a parent is be like, she's doing great, she's killing it, everything's going great, everything's getting better, because things do get better.
Right.
You know, but then you really have to sit down and go, okay, so how many times did this happen or that happen? You know, we have to talk about behaviors, and we have to, because if you sugarcoat everything and make it all look, you know, wonderful, even though you're a professional at what you do as far as being a parent, you know, you've created accommodations to keep your child safe and, you know, to protect them from harm and yourself from harm and you know, all those things. You still have to be realistic about those accommodations that you've had to make that are out of the norm, so that you can present it in a way that you're going to continue to receive services,
right,
or get services or whatever. I think a lot of times we try to, you know, put on this you know, I can handle this face.
So when Asa and I were much younger and Abigail was much younger, we were worried about what if they want to take our child away because they think we can't handle it.
Right.
You know, they're not going to do that. That's not their goal.
Yeah.
They're not going to take you away.
No.
That's not the goal. It's to
provide
have
services,
people in place to help you.
Yeah.
Because it's not a normal situation, and she's now 18 years old. Like,
right,
it's definitely not a normal situation at this point.
Yeah.
So there are resources out there that are available to all families, and that's, you know, that's just, we're thankful for that.
Yeah. But yeah, it sucks.
Yeah.
But spell it out, you know, really tell them everything.
And that young man was very knowledgeable.
And that benefits you. It benefits you, and it benefits your child or your loved one that you care for. So it's hard though. But just remember, we're here for you.
Yeah.
We do it too. So, all right. See you guys tomorrow. Bye.